morning, everyone. Welcome to Tribune News on your go-to morning news source, only here at the Daily Tribune. We're live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Daily Tribune PH on YouTube, and the Daily Tribune Official on TikTok. For this week's headlines. The Questions EDSA Rehabilitation Project has a separate 1.18 billion peso maintenance contract awarded to Redicon on top of its 4 billion plus peso rehabilitation contract for the Orense to Monumento stretch. A co-auditor described the Office of the Vice President's 16 million peso safe house spending over 11 days as substantial, but said it was not initially flagged as irregular because it was supported by acknowledgement receipts. The Department of Justice says the criminal case against Vice President Sara Duterte is separate from her ongoing impeachment proceedings before the Senate. The Department of Justice says it will ensure Pastor Apollo Kibuloy will not face the death penalty if he is extradited and convicted in the United States. Cebu has received 265 million pesos in national government funds for projects covering energy, healthcare, and farm-to-market roads. Senator Panfilo Lacson branded the alleged Senate Leadership Fund as illegal and unconstitutional, calling it a worse and more corruption-prone version of the pork barrel system abolished by the Supreme Court in 2013. The Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation is preparing nearly 36 million pesos in insurance payouts for thousands of farmers affected by recent typhoons and the southwest monsoon. Russell Westbrook, the NBA's all-time triple-double leader and former MVP, has announced his decision to step away from basketball after 18-season career. Former world number 1 Iga Swiatek has won her first title of the 2026 season after dominating Eliana in the Canadian Open final. Filipino actress and host Kim Chiu has won the Best Global Star Award at the IMBC Awards in South Korea through fan voting. Today is the 15th day of August 2026, Saturday, and I'm Eliana Lacap bringing you this week's top stories. Let's get started. Redicon Trading and Construction secured a 1.183 billion peso DPWH contract for preventive maintenance of primary roads along EDSA, separate from its 4 billion plus contract peso from the Orense to Monumento rehabilitation. The project was originally specified to use stone, matic asphalt, a durable material designed to resist rotting and water damage. The development comes after potholes emerged along the newly rehabilitated EDSA busway following heavy rains. DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon said Redicon will shoulder the repairs as President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ordered the damaged section fixed. Meanwhile, Senate Blue Ribbon Chair Committee Erwin Tulfo said the panel will investigate substandard infrastructure projects, including the recent collapse of an EDSA Ayala retaining wall. The COA auditor said the Office of the Vice President spent around 16 million pesos for safe house rentals in just 11 days in December of 2022. Supervising Auditor Silene May del Campo described the amount as substantial, but said COA did not initially flag the transactions as irregular, because the payments were supported by acknowledgement receipts. The amount covered 34 safe house rentals and was part of the 125 million pesos in confidential and intelligence funds spent by the OVP during the period. Del Campo said the rules did not specifically prohibit aliases or code names on acknowledgement receipts, making it difficult for auditors to flag the transactions based solely on the documents submitted. COA, however, issued a notice of disallowance ordering the OVP to return 73.3 million pesos over spending on activities unrelated to confidential and intelligence operations. Prosecutor General Richard Anthony Falcon reiterated that the grave threats case against Vice President Sara Duterte before the Quezon City Regional Trial Court is separate from the impeachment proceedings before the Senate. He said the DOJ will leave it to the court to determine how the criminal case should proceed. DOJ spokesperson Attorney Polo Martinez said the two proceedings involve different jurisdictions and evidence can therefore move forward independently. Fadulyon said there is nothing preventing the DOJ from prosecuting Duterte before regular courts, despite her status as an impeachable officer. The Department of Justice said it will ensure Pastor Apollo Kibuloy will not be subject to capital punishment if convicted in the United States. DOJ Chief State Counsel Dennis Arvin Chan made the statement as the department reviews the U.S. extradition request against the Kingdom of Jesus the Christ founder. Kibuloy is wanted in the U.S. over charges including sex trafficking of children, and bulk cash smuggling. Chan said the DOJ is confident the extradition can be granted if the request complies with the Philippines-U.S. extradition treaty, although the final decision rests within the court and any ruling may still be appealed. Now, Cebu has received 265 million pesos in special allotment release order funds under the Local Government Support Fund. Executive Secretary Ralph Recto turned over the allocation to the Cebu government. Pamela Baricuatro, with the funds intended for critical provincial projects, the visit also included the distribution of rice assistance to around 3,200 beneficiaries, including fisherfolk, single parents, and senior citizens. Cordova Cebu also received 20 million pesos for infrastructure projects, while 9 local government units received a combined of 54.8 million pesos in socio-civic project funds. Now, Senator Panfilo Lacson branded the so-called Leadership Fund allegedly distributed among senators as illegal and unconstitutional, saying it may even be more vulnerable to corruption than the former pork barrel system. Lacson said the alleged scheme had an unlimited ceiling of 4 billion pesos to 11 billion pesos, compared to the pork barrel system's 200 million peso annual allocation per senator. His remarks followed former Public Works Secretary Manuel Bonon's testimony that senators received a combined 24 billion pesos in leadership funds, with each getting at least 500 million pesos and committee chairs up to 1 billion pesos. Lacson said lawmakers should not intervene in the National Expenditure Program, warning that inserting preferred DPWH projects could enable abuse and corruption. Now, the Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation is preparing around 35.67 million pesos in insurance payouts for 5,005 farmers affected by Typhoons Luis and Maymay and the southwest monsoon. The initial assessment covers crop damage recorded from August 1st to 11th across 6 regions. Rice farms accounted for the largest share of the estimated losses at 25.6 million pesos, followed by high-value crops and corn. PCIC said it is using technology to speed up field assessments and claims processing, although the initial figures remain subject to validation. The former NBA MVP Russell Westbrook has decided to step away from basketball after 18 seasons. The 37-year-old point guard announced his farewell through a video narrated by actor Michael B. Jordan, featuring highlights from his career. A 9-time All-Star and Olympic gold medalist, Westbrook won the 2017 NBA MVP award and became the league's career leader in triple-doubles with 209. He also averaged a triple-double in 4 seasons, a feat achieved only by 3 players in NBA history. Westbrook spent 11 seasons with the Oklahoma City Thunders before stints with Houston, Washington, the Lakers, LA Clippers, Denver, and Sacramento. Now, Iga Swiatek captured her first title of the 2026 season after defeating world number 2 Elena Rybakina 6-2, 6-3 in the Toronto final. The victory gave the 6-time Grand Slam champion her first Canadian Open title and her 12th WTA 1000 trophy. The 25-year-old pole controlled the match from start to finish, breaking Rybakina early in both sets. The victory also moved Swiatek back into the world's top 5 ahead of the U.S. Open. Now, Kim Chiu has earned another international recognition after being named Best Global Star at the IMBC Awards. She won through a fan voting, finishing ahead of Thai stars Rashun Mahuan and Tiffany Witrandom, while her on-screen partner Paula Avellino placed 5th. Kim thanked her supporters for the recognition, which adds to her growing international following. The IMBC Awards also recognized South Korean stars Byeon Woo-seok as Best Actor and IU as Best Actress. That's all for now. Join us again tomorrow at 11 a.m. still here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Daily Tribune PH on YouTube, and the Daily Tribune Official on TikTok. Also catch the diva that you love, Alvin Ignacio, and Ultra Maldita Alex Brosas later and tomorrow, 4 o'clock p.m. for the DTT show on Jairo Terada's Facebook page and YouTube channel. Once again, I'm Eliana Lacap, and this has been Tribune News on Q.